Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. And that is one of the most probably well-known single players in Marvel Strike Force quitting and hanging up his jacket. And that is none other than Tadano Mac Japan. Now, I don't want this video to solely be about this, though, and it has been discussed already on other content creators' channels, so I'm a little bit late to this, but, for those of you who only watch the Boilon channel or want to hear my thoughts on it, I want to kind of cover it anyways, because that's like kind of the main news that's been going around these days. But I also want to talk about it in the context of, what's next? What is going to be happening going forward with Marvel Strike Force, the game? Yes, of course, the game is still going to be around. This game is still kicking, but I want to talk about why, this is still kind of the last chance for the players to really get their word out. Because as you guys know, that I have been a part of, the MSF Player Voices movement. And, I've been encouraging everyone to try and get involved where they possibly can. Because realistically, I think there's a lot of importance to this. Both with the Tadano Mac story, but also just more broadly, why this is really the last chance for the players to get anything done, I guess, so to speak. And because it's not that this game won't survive, it's just that, I think it'll be a shell of its former self, of what we remember, for those of us who've been around for a long time. And so I want to talk all about all this and more in today's video, so if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. And we're going to do a quick recap of, what's been going on. The particular letter that was, shared from Tadano Mac. Now, this was taken down at the request of Tadano Mac from Reddit. There was a post related to that from the MSF Player Voices movement. However, that was taken down, but the original document from the server is still here, which is what you're seeing here. This is over on the MSF Player Voices Discord. I've made channel announcements for this in the past. It's been on my YouTube. It's been on my Discord channel, where you can find it there. But I will leave another link to that in the description down below as well, if you want to kind of join up, because I do recommend it. There's a lot. It's a really great server. We're actually almost at 4,500 members as of my video today. I believe the last time I mentioned this, we were under 2,000. So it's been growing at such a crazy pace. And so I do encourage everyone, if they care about Marvel Strike Force, to try and get involved. There's a lot of good things, by the way, in here. There's a lot of things to discuss with the players more broadly. Lots of great topics. We talk about the characters, we talk about the events, a lot of feedback, and so on and so forth. So do give it a check out if you haven't yet. But let's talk about the statement from Tadano Mac. So the sale to Savvy, and we're going to start from, these are his words, by the way, and then we'll talk about the response down below, which is from the MSF Player Voices movement. So the sale to Savvy, this is Savvy Games, for those of you guys who didn't watch my other video about this, is that Scopely is being sold to Savvy Games, which is an arm of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. So what that means is, to some extent, there is going to be involvement, at least in the money terms, by the Saudi Arabian government. I covered that before. I'm not a huge fan personally, but the deal has not gone through yet, so this is not something that's going to be impacting the game, at least in the short term anyways. Boundless needed to maximize their sales volume over the course of 2022 for due diligence. The Apocalypse, so this is basically that's the reason. And that's what the reason that he's giving has been hyper monetization in Marvel Strike Force, because of the need for Boundless and Scopely to raise their portfolio, the value of their portfolio, for this sale to Savvy Games. The Apocalypse Saga and Complex Milestone system, this is the month-long events that, really just started in 2022. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the first month of it started in April, which was, the beginning of the Apocalypse Saga in that Morgan Le Fay sort of period around there. The Apocalypse Saga and milestones were intended to fuel a sense of competition amongst the player base and the plan succeeded admirably. Which basically means that a lot of people bought into this, a lot of people spent a lot of money, whether that was for the characters or for the leaderboard gambling. Some of you guys know that a lot of these events have been having leaderboards attached to it. So, in some cases, blind leaderboards. You didn't really know where you were. You didn't know where you stacked up against other players. And there was, Blue 4 and Blue 5 ions, that have been in almost every single leaderboard, which is what you needed to do to get Apocalypse unlocked. And for those of the players who were going for, big Apocalypse, required you to get so many of these Blue 5 leaderboard payouts. Otherwise it was next to impossible, because by clearing all the Apocalypse Saga, you only got like 10 characters full in Blue 5. So there was over 50% of the characters that you needed from these leaderboards. The company only views players as a number. Now that the sale has been finalized, their Boundless's problem is to pacify the players' grievances so that it does not become a serious due diligence breach. The effort pretends to address the player base, but in effect only temporarily suppresses the backlash. So now that all of this stuff with the Apocalypse Saga is over, they're trying to kind of come back and get some goodwill from the player base, but it's being very challenging. There are many things I want to say to you all, but I can't convey them as well as I'd like to. I think this is the last chance for the community to come together and move things forward. So even Tadano Mac believes that this MSF Player Voices movement is the last straw. And personally, I believe this to be the case too. I think that if this does not take us in the direction that we want to with Marvel Strike Force, I think that a lot of us may finally decide to throw it in. And honestly, I'm not far from there. To be perfectly honest, and those who have followed the channel for a while, the game just has not been as fun, in my opinion, as it used to be in the past. And with things like Lord of the Rings, Heroes of Middle-earth, that's something that I'm going to be covering in the near future. And you're going to see this on this channel. You're going to see it on my side channel as well. And it's something that's coming out next month that, if in fact that game ends up being more fun, at least in gameplay, than what I'm having right now in Marvel Strike Force, we'll see, what's next in store for the channel. But, I feel that things are not getting better as such, and it's up to Scopely. It's in their court now to really figure out what's best for this game and how they're not going to absolutely nosedive and crash this game. Now is the best time to negotiate. In 2022, the plan that exasperated the player base ended in success for them. They released a garbage Apocalypse character without transparency to the player base, and now they have updated Apocalypse to assuage resulting player frustration. So Apocalypse was released, and then he was updated a little bit, and then he was updated again with the upgrades, the empowered form. I don't know why, not the empowered form, the upgrades to the skills that you saw a week ago. I don't know why I'm floundering here on figuring out the right word. I can't think of the right word, but you know what I'm talking about. That is just putting a band-aid on the problem. So there was just a lot of issues with the Apocalypse release in general that they just didn't really think about, and that's the crazy part. There's nothing more I can contribute, but I hope that the players can regain their enthusiasm and that things from here on out go well. A lot of people expressed their resentment for me personally, but I loved and respected the people who played this game with me. But if I had been a native speaker of English, I would have been able to interact more with the community and enjoy the game more, which makes me sad. It was a great 4 years. Thank you all very much. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are going to say, well, the problem is the spenders, right? It's the whales, it's the krakens, and so on and so forth, for the reason why this game is where it is. And I don't think that's really accurate, because, if we didn't have spenders, if nobody spent it all, there would be no game, right? But I do want to make very clear that, we need a combination of both. You need spenders and you need free-to-play players. You need a player base, right? Like, you need an active player base to play this game and enjoy it, because, frankly, the whales and krakens need free-to-play players to lord their progress over, right? To be able to whoop them in whatever game mode. That's just how things are. But, yeah, so you can't just not have them, right? We need to be in a cohesive community that respects both sides of it and respects everyone, frankly. And that's what, Marvel Strike Force Player Voices really really hopes to achieve as well. We're not just a movement for, the spenders. We're a movement for everyone. And I think this is really, I said it before, the last chance, really. And so I want to kind of read out the MSF player voices, their kind of statement in response to this. So, as we have seen many times over the years, but more often than late, the community is losing another great member. Tadano Mac will forever have his name etched into the game in various places, but will be retiring from MSF this weekend. The community may not realize it, but we are losing a great advocate as well. While many may have blamed him for various problems in the game, Tadano worked very hard to try and generate positive change for the community in the ways that he could. The last year of grinding for Apocalypse and the efforts to pump the player base in particular have taken their toll, and the last few missteps from Boundless have proven to be more than he is willing to tolerate. So this part here, if you guys may remember that there was these, I would say borderline racist, offers that were out, specifically mentioning Tadano Mac in the offer with Yoda-esque language tone, and that for one, it most likely, and I'm assuming here, they did not have the permission of Tadano Mac in order to post that, and he got super pissed off, and that's how we kind of got the gold Apocalypse that came out as a result, which at this point seems like an NFT, because he's the only one who's going to have it, and he's leaving, though they did mention that the gold Apocalypse could come back in the future, and we'll see if that does or not anyways. Not that it matters too much, but just how all of this happened was just kind of crazy in terms of the timeline. He is truly in a unique position as someone who has been directly named in different ways and whose image has been capitalized on by the developers. As our friend and ally, we wish him all the best and appreciate his efforts. While he'll no longer be participating in the fight, he will be in our thoughts as we continue to push to right the ship and make improvements for the community at large. We continue to see hasty decisions and egregious mistakes, more Apocalypse changes very shortly after other updates, a monochromatic reskin, and a retroactive Race to Apocalypse announcement. Changes to event information that have barely been made public under the universal trump card of subject to change. And nothing pisses me off more than this. I'm sure you guys are well aware. When we do the blog readings, when we do blogs with Boilon, and, all I can think about is what's wrong with this. What event information is wrong? What are we not being told? Because these are things that happen time and time again when it comes to Marvel Strike Force and Scopely and Boundless. Because they just, don't do their checks and balances. And that part really frustrates me. Bugs upon bugs and various offers that range from intentionally misleading to those that only exist to capture errant clicks. Now is the time to push. Now is the time to act. We will lose more of our friends and allies if we do not. And I want to reiterate that, I really do believe in this movement, and I do believe that this is also the last chance. If we can't do anything positive out of this, I've lost all faith and hope that things will get better on their own when it comes to Marvel Strike Force. More and more people are leaving. People from my alliance have been leaving too. I have to replace another one this weekend, unfortunately, who are quitting because of their exhaustion with the game, who are, finished with Apocalypse and just kind of, that's it, and they're kind of, they don't have any reason to keep going. And it's really unfortunate that the game has kind of become this way. This year-long Apocalypse chase has not only been disappointing, but it's kind of caused a lot of people to rethink their priorities and rethink their tenure in this game, which is clear because I've seen it. Lots of people comment on my YouTube channel, lots of people comment on Reddit and so on and so forth, everywhere in my Discord about how they're leaving the game. People have DM'd me about it, and it's just really unfortunate how that is. So if you want to take a look at this statement and also the original screenshots, which actually is from Tadano Mac himself in one of the other Discord channels, then you can check it out on the MSF Player Voices movement. I'd really love to hear from you guys about what's going on. How are you all feeling? And, what's it going to take? I gotta be real that things are just, for me personally, not in a great place with the game. I'm still covering the game. I'm still trying to do the best I can for you all from the events and other parts, and I still enjoy the game enough to stick with it, but I just don't have it. There's something in the pit of my stomach that makes me think that it's just not headed in the right direction. I've been saying this for a while, though. So I don't know. I hope that, this can really make things better, because after this, there's nothing left. And I'll leave it in your guys' court. I would really love it, though, if you guys, I would encourage you all to join up on the MSF Player Voices to add more numbers to the server stats, but also to engage with what's going on here. You know, there's plenty of stuff that you can do, even as a single player, to really get yourself and your voice heard, because there's every day there's stuff going on in this Discord that you can kind of contribute to and engage with. It's really amazing, and the people behind this movement is also really amazing. So, Tadano Mac, so long. You know, thanks for the Marvel Strike Force, and arigato gozaimasu. You know, if you are watching this, I am half Japanese, and I wish you the best in your future, and maybe I'll see you in Lord of the Rings, Heroes of Middle-earth. Maybe we'll see a Tadano Mac there. Maybe not. Anyways, that's the end of this video, everyone. Let me know in the comments down below how this has been impacting you, not just the Tadano Mac story, but just in general, like your thoughts with the game as it sits right now. So that's the end of this video, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.